In 2015, a food truck company briefly hit a stock market value of over $100 million. The grilled cheese truck had $2.6 million in sales, a $4.4 million loss, and a ticker symbol, GRLD, Wall Street, valuing melted cheese at 40 times revenue. That absurd little story is the perfect door into today's deal, because the food truck business is real, $2,800 million a year across roughly 90,000 trucks. But almost everything people believe about it is wrong, starting with the famous statistic. You've heard 60% of food trucks fail in 3 years. There is no study behind that number. It's recycled restaurant data that the internet laundered into a fact. So let's do what nobody on Instagram does. The actual math, with the costs the highlight reels always skip, and the one asset in this business that matters more than the truck itself. Max didn't build a truck. He bought one. And that decision is half the episode. A new custom build runs $75,000 to $200,000 and takes months. A used truck trades for $20,000 to $90,000. And an operating business, truck plus book of business, sells on BizBuySell for a median around $200,000 at 1.5 to 3 times the owner's earnings. Max paid $200,000 for a truck with $300,000 a year in verified sales. Here's the ledger. Food costs eat 30%, $90,000. Part-time labor, $45,000. The commissary, and this is a cost outsiders never see, most cities require trucks to prep and park at a licensed commercial kitchen, $200 to $1,500 a month. Fuel, maintenance, permits, insurance, event fees, card processing. All in, costs land around $195,000, leaving about $105,000 of owner earnings. But read the fine print on that number. It includes Max standing in the window 50 hours a week. Hire a manager instead, and the margin collapses to a single digit, which is the honest reconciliation between the gurus quoting 35% and the operators crying at 9%. Now, the real secret of this industry, the truck, is not the asset. The permission is. In New York City, full mobile vending permits were capped at about $5,100 for decades. The official fee is around $200. But with 10,000 people on waitlists, permits have illegally rented for upward of $17,000 a year, a $200 piece of paper outperforming the truck it's taped to. The city has finally started phasing in about 2,200 new licenses a year, but the lesson stands everywhere. In Chicago, trucks can't stop within 200 feet of any restaurant, fines run to $2,000, and the law forces a GPS tracker on every truck. One cupcake truck owner fought that rule to the Illinois Supreme Court and lost. Before you buy any truck, you're really buying its legal right to park somewhere people are hungry. Price that first, city by city, because the same truck that prints in Austin can be nearly unparkable 3 states away, and no amount of good cooking fixes a geography problem. And when it works, it really works, because the ceiling is higher than a lunch line. Kogi in Los Angeles launched in 2008, announcing its stops on Twitter, invented the modern food truck playbook, and made its chef famous. The Halal Guys started as a Manhattan hot dog cart in 1990 and turned one street corners line into a global franchise chain. Cousins Maine Lobster went from a single truck to a national franchise system after Shark Tank. The pattern is identical. One truck proves the menu, the brand escapes the truck, and the real money arrives in franchising, catering, and storefronts, where the margins finally escape the fryer. The truck was never the business. It was the marketing department with a fryer. The failure mode, though, is brutally specific. A buyer pays $180,000 for a truck. The seller says grosses $350. No point of sale export, no tax returns, a handshake. Then reality. A third of the revenue was one corporate campus lunch contract and 2 festival slots, all personal relationships of the seller, none of which transfer because the campus facilities manager liked the seller, not the truck. The county health permit doesn't transfer either, and the tired chassis fails the new owner inspection. What he actually bought was an old kitchen on wheels at triple its scrap value. So the diligence list writes itself. Pull the raw register data for 24 months and tie it to tax returns. Call the health department yourself about permit transfer. Get the commissary's commitment in writing. Map every recurring event and ask which ones survive the seller leaving. And inspect the truck twice, once as a kitchen, once as a 12-year-old diesel. Scaling is where the fleet math gets interesting. Trucks share the commissary, share prep labor, share the brand, so the second and third truck carry fatter margins than the first. And the schedule stops depending on one human's stamina. 3 trucks with disciplined routes and a catering calendar can clear more than many storefront restaurants on a fraction of the rent. But every added truck is another driver, another breakdown, another permit stack. And fleet operators will tell you the business is really logistics wearing an apron. The ones who make it treat routes like delivery companies treat them, measured, scored, and cut without sentiment when a corner stops earning. So here's the food truck playbook. Buy an operating truck on verified numbers, never a dream build. Value the permits and the parking rights above the steel. Keep the owner in the window until the brand, not the hustle, is what customers line up for. Use events as marketing that pays, not rent that eats. And remember the grilled cheese truck. In this business, the money is made at the window and lost in the spreadsheet. This is Acquisition Insider, showing you how the machine really works. Subscribe.